Hi, everybody. Margot Weatherford here, and I am here today to talk to you about seller financing. Seller financing can be a really great option, especially in the real estate market that we're in today. And I want to go over with you the benefits and requirements for a buyer in a seller financing transaction, and also the benefits and maybe tips for sellers if you're entering into a seller financing transaction. So let's talk for the buyers first. Why is seller financing something that you may want to consider on a property that you're looking to purchase? Well, number one is typically it's going to be cheaper for you upfront as a buyer. So what do I mean by that? Well, your closing costs are going to be lower. Most likely, you're not going to have a origination fee from a lender. You're not going to have any discount points that you have to pay off. And you're not going to be waiting for the loan officer or the underwriter to complete the file and approve the loan. So it is a great option, particularly if you currently don't qualify for a traditional mortgage as a buyer. So this could be a way for you to get your foot in the door with a property and go ahead and purchase it, even if you think that you may not be able to with traditional lending. The second piece of this is the requirements for a buyer. So typically you're going to need to put money down on a seller financing deal as a buyer. I would say it's normally about 20 to 25%. That can vary according to the seller's terms. Remember, when you are doing a seller financing deal, it's all about the terms between you and the seller. So typically we see about 20 to 25% in down payment. And be prepared, though, that you will have a balloon payment. What that means, a balloon payment is the remaining balance will have to be paid in full at some point in the future. And again, those terms are decided between you and the seller. So as a buyer, I would encourage you, number one, hire a very seasoned real estate professional in your market. You do not want to hire an agent who does not have much experience to help you do a seller financing transaction. Your broker needs to have connections with a great real estate attorney to help with all of this. And they also need to have the knowledge to negotiate with the seller or the seller's agent to be able to get you the best terms and terms that are agreeable to both parties. So make sure you have a really great real estate agent wherever you are doing a seller financing deal. So here is just a proposal of what a seller financing offer would look like. So you're a buyer, you've seen a property that you really love, and you want to propose to the seller that they offer seller financing. So one way to say this, Mr. and Mrs. Seller, my offer is full price with 20% down, seller financed for $350,000 at a 6% interest rate amortized over 30 years with a 5-year balloon payment at the end of the term. So again, that's just an example. That down payment amount can change. Of course, your purchase price can change. The interest rate that you ask for can change. But the good news is that all of these terms are negotiable. It is not dependent upon what the economy is mandating. It's not dependent upon prime rates. It's whatever you and the seller agree to. Now, on the flip side of this, if you're a seller or you're an homeowner, and you're watching this thinking, well, Margot, what's in this for me? Why would I select a buyer who's proposing owner financing? Well, it has to work for you too. So here are some things to consider. Number one, let's say you have your home listed for sale, or an investment property is really where we see it most commonly. So an investment property, a vacant property listed for sale, and you're having trouble selling it. You need a creative option if you are looking to get this property sold, and offering seller financing, also known as owner financing, can be a great option. Number two is that you might be able to settle at a higher purchase price than you would have been if you did not entertain seller financing. So what do I mean by that? Well, we're in a market right now nationally where a lot of cities, a lot of areas are seeing longer days on market for listings and maybe a little bit of a price adjustment from what you thought that your property was worth right now. Not everywhere, not every house, not every listing. But if you're in a position where your house or the property's been on the market for a while and you are fairly adamant about the list price that you need to get on the property, offering seller financing may open up a window of buyers who perhaps look good on paper. You know, they have the solid credit, they have the solid financial history, they've got the 20 to 30% down payment, but maybe they don't want to pay an 8% investor interest rate right now. Perhaps they would be inclined to pay a 6% interest rate that is financed by the seller. So it just opens up a new market of buyers who may be incentivized to then offer on your property. Of course, the easiest way for you to do seller financing as an owner is if you own the property free and clear. If you do have a mortgage on the property, you need to check with your lender because they may have a due on sale clause in your agreement where it prohibits you from selling the property without paying off the mortgage in full. And of course, if you did this and your lender found out about it, they could potentially foreclose. So that's something very important to note. I wanted to share these things with you today because I am seeing in my markets more seller financing agreements come to the table. And I think it's really important to consider as a buyer, especially as an investor buyer, and as an owner, as a seller, to continue to get deals done in a market where it's getting harder for buyers and sellers to come to terms. So if you have any questions on seller financing, please feel free to reach out to me. Even if I'm not in your market, I can connect you with a local real estate professional who is a top agent in your market and has the connections to make this a possibility for you. Thank you so much for watching.